The sages were in meditation. They were meditating, right? And then through meditation, meditation means you get connected to the Supreme. So the Supreme One gave all the messages which are found in the Veda, all the teachings of the Veda were given to the sages by the Supreme One, right? So either they could hear it at that time, or they could see that in their mind, in their thoughts, right? So then what happened after getting all the teachings of the Vedas? The sages, they compiled everything. Okay, so they compiled tout, they fait living Ved, right? So as for any religion, the scripture is very important, right? N'importe quelle religion we can think about, scripture has its own importance because it is a guide for humanity. It is a guide for us, right? Now, the Vedas, we say it is a Paurushya. A Paurushya means it is of divine origin. As I told you, God himself gave that. A Paurush, or you can say it is not man-made. The word Paurush here has the word Purush. In Hindi, it means man, right? So it is not man-made or plutôt man-written, right? So it is of divine origin. The Vedas, right? So here it is Apaurush, but the heard one, c'est-à-dire the sages, they could hear it from the Supreme, right? All the mantras, all the verses of the Veda. That's why it is called Shruti. Shruti means which has been heard, right? Shruti means listening, right? To listen something in Sanskrit, Shruti. So which has been heard. So the sages heard them, the teachings. C'est pour ça, Ved can also be called Shruti. You need to know this word Shruti, yeah? Because in the questions it may come. Ever since that the Vedas were composed in the sense they were written, noted down by the sages, the Vedas have remained pure and without distortions. There are certain scriptures. I give you one example, the scripture of the Buddhist, right? In Buddhism, their scripture is the Dhammapada. The Dhammapada has teachings of Buddha. Good. And apart from that, Buddha is the incarnated one, also is the master, accepted. But apart from Buddha, there are commentaries of various Buddhist scholars in the Dhammapada, which means that there has been certain distortion in it. But the Vedas, no, because they are from the divine origin and they have been given to the sages. Sages noted down Eli as it is, right? The Vedas consist of what? Very large, very huge. It consists of thousands of hymns, which are chanted usually. And what is the purpose? What is the purpose of the hymns or the verses in the Veda? So to help us to have a balanced life, to live properly, to live brightly, and to achieve the aim of life. The aim of life can be, aim of life can be different for everyone. Let's say my aim of life can be to become successful in my career. For someone, it will mean to have a great political career. For Nutu, the aim of life is very different. But at the end, what matters is The aim of life should be liberation. Sooner or later, our soul will yearn for liberation. Nous pourrons sa libération là, right? From the earth to be liberated, to get moksha. You call it moksha, mukti, salvation, liberation. To sarasivan synonyms, right? So the Vedas help people to realize the four goals, right? Four goals. There are four goals of life, which we call the four Purushartha. We have that also in our syllabus. You have the four Purushartha. The four Purushartha is Dharma. We need to learn Dharma, righteousness, duty. Artha, earn money. Money is important to live. Kama, desires, sensual, sexual activities or pleasures, and then moksha. So Ved grant us all these things if we follow them properly, surely. Right? So this is what I've just told you. We need to reach the highest heaven and all. But now the Vedas, normally we have one Ved, huge one, divided into four. Right? So we have four Vedas, the Rig Ved, the Yajur Ved, the Sam Ved, and the Atharva Ved. These are the four Vedas which we have, and they are in this very order, chronological order, right? First Rig Ved was compiled, then Yajur, then Sam, then Atharva. Okay, you need to know it in that order. Maintenant, each Ved, we have four Ved, we have said, each Ved is divided into four. That is, Rig Ved is divided into four. We have Rig Samhita, Rig Brahmana, Rig Aranyak, Rig Upanishads, or we just call it Upanishads. Then you have Yajur Ved, which is further divided into four, Yajur Samhita, Yajur Brahmana, etc. So the four Veda, they are all divided into four parts. The Samhita, number one, number two, the Brahmana, number three, the Aranyak, and the Upanishads. We will see the Samhitas. C'est quoi the Samhita? Kaunjalyan subdivision of the Ved, yes, but what is it? What is there in it, right? The Samhita, they contain hymns, ou bien verses, which are used in sacrificial rituals, and Vedic ceremonies as part of offerings, prayers, and invocations, right? Donc, dans partie Samhita qui nous est dans Ved, c'est they are hymns, they are verses. Like a priest is doing a ceremony, for example, the mantras, the prayers that they recite, it is from the Samhita part of the Ved, right? Each contains hundreds of hymns, normal. All the Ved have different hymns, right? The Samhitas of the Rig Ved and the Sama Ved, which are the oldest of the four Vedas, contain 1017, 1028, and 1549, 1820 hymns respectively. So these are the number of hymns found in the Rig Samhita and the Sama Ved, right? The hymns of the Rig Ved are called the Riks, R-I-K-S, the Riks. Dans Ved, Rig Ved, tout ban mantra qui est nan, on appelle ça ban Riks, which are which are used as chants, what you call Vedic chanting. The hymns of the Sama Ved, they are called the Saman. And from the Yajur Ved, they are known as the Yajus. Saman mantra last no sa, right? All the mantra of Rig Ved Riks, all mantra of Sama Ved, Samans, all mantra of Yajur Ved, the Yajus. Sorry. Now, For a very long time, the Atharva Ved, the fourth Ved, was not considered as a Veda. Okay. Au commencement, nous avons le 3 Ved, après nous avons Atharva Ved. But many scholars did not accept Atharva as a Ved. Why is it so? Because it contains tantras. You know, on a des affaires, mantra and tantra. Mantra, say like you recite mantra, Om Bhurpur Swaha or something like. But now you have tantra also. Maybe with this word you can guess you get the word tantric, right? Sorry, tantric. Et you know that tantric supposément in black magic also, right? But it is a science which exists in itself. It is a science in itself which exists in the Atharva Ved. What is there in the Tantra actually? They consist of prayers, mantras, prayers, which need to be chanted to possess something, to have something. Let's say if I want a child, there is a certain mantra, maybe Lipujema recite it 1008 times to get this. In a aussi like, you know, so you want to get someone attracted to you. So Siena mantras for that. You can do it. So previously people, scholars, they did not accept Atharva Ved as a Veda because it contains the Tantra. It has spells, it has charms that we use to protect oneself, right? But it also exists in it certain spells which can be used to hurt someone, to harm opponents, right? But these were used previously, I'm telling you, in the Vedic age, in the Treta Yuga, you know, they were used especially by warriors, by kings, because they needed that. They needed to defeat their opponents. Okay. Mais loin de là, qui nous, modern man, qui nous aussi nous faisait practice the same thing. It's not like that. It's not really the demand of time right now, right? So I just told you about Satyuga and all, just to refer to it. Time is divided into 4, right? Is divided into 4, which you call the 4 eras, or the word used for it is the 4 yugas or yug. The first one being the Satyug. It is also known as Krita Yug. In certain books or places, you will see it is known as Krita, either Sat or Krita. Then you have the Treta Yug, the Dwapar Yug, and you have the Kali Yug. Right now, we are in the 4th Yug, which is the Kali Yug. We are almost at the end of Kali Yug, right? Now, the Brahmanas, which is a part of the Ved, what do they consist? They contain the commentaries and interpretations of the sacrifices and the rituals. Dans Samhita, Tenaban mantras qui nous servent for different kinds of rituals, of ceremonies. And the Brahmana part, qui est là dedans, c'est by commentaries and interpretations. It's all like when we are doing a mantra, a prayer, we need to know what does it mean. Sinon, il n'y a aucune value at the end. Because mantra, prayers means communicating to God. If I don't know what I'm communicating to God, what will happen? Bizarre communication, bizarre, right? So without understanding what I'm reciting is not correct. So the Brahmana side help us to understand the meaning, the significances of the sacrifices and the rituals, having the different interpretations. Okay, parce que ça, the mantras, they are like offerings to God, right? The prayers, they are like offerings to God, to the Supreme. So I need to know what exactly I'm offering to God, what is there in the mantra. And if a mantra is not well pronounced as well, it is not correct. It should be pronounced properly. Because Sanskrit is such a language, and of course, Vedas is written in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is such a language that one word can have different meanings. So if we don't pronounce properly, maybe things can go wrong, right? So we need to know the procedure, and tout ça, nous trouve ça dans Brahmana, the procedure, the explanation, all the regulations and all. How to perform the mantra, the ritual, and is written there. The Aranyak part, right, of the Ved, the third part of the Ved, it is known as the Aranyak or the forest book, right? Aranya of it means forest. They served as guidebooks for the hermits, right? Why hermits now? Because life is divided into 4 stages. It should be divided into 4 stages, actually. Number 1 is the Brahmacharya stage. That is the life of a student. We learn. Then the Grihast stage. We get married. We have a family. We work. We earn. Then the Vanprastha stage. Vanprastha, Vana means forest. You leave everything now, your family, your house, you go to the forest. To become what? To become, to renounce life, right? And then you have the sannyas, which means complete renunciation of life. Here in the Vanprastha ashram, you're learning to renounce life. Because here in Grihastha ashram, we have been attached to our relationship, to our work, life, material world. It's not easy to change everything instantly. So it takes time. Donc, after the Grihastha ashram, we go through the Vanprastha, and then the final one is the sannyas ashram. So the hermits actually come in this one, the Vanprastha and the sannyas. But you have certain hermits who do not get married. From Brahmacharya, they enter directly to the sannyas ashram. You can have the example of Swami Vivekananda. From Brahmacharya ashram, he entered directly the sannyas ashram. That is, he did not go through the other 2 stages. But for us, we are modern people, we are modern men. It is difficult for us to do that. We have temptations around, we have urges. God created us with certain urges. So Vedas say that let's go through all the stages. It is not wrong to get married. It is not wrong to earn money. It is not wrong to enjoy pleasures, but provided it is done in a proper way, right? A proper way, I mean, very within the limits of dharma, right? Righteously, we earn everything, we enjoy life, and then we get moksha, right? Back to the Veda. So the Aranyak parts is the forest book, which serve a guide for the hermits, right? And the renunciants, those who want to renounce life, those who live in the forest, and the practice of austerities to achieve moksha. They practice many austerities. Austerities can mean fire sacrifices, can mean meditation. In other meditation for many days. Maybe in movies you have seen in other boutons and pieds, peut faire méditation. Tout ça là, c'est bien different kind of austerities which we perform to attain moksha. Right? So the Aranyak contain knowledge of Vedic rituals which can be performed internally or individually without elaborate arrangements. You know, a sannyasi, quand ils vivent dans la forêt, right? The sannyasi, this is what I'm talking, the vanprasti and the sannyasi. When they live in the forest, they don't have all the facilities. Now, it's true that now we don't have the same system. I'm talking about years back, right? They don't have all the facilities which we have now, right? If you have to do a prayer in your home, you have all the facilities, you go out, you buy many stuff to be used, right? But the sannyasis or the vanprastis, that is the hermits, they don't have those facilities. So we have a certain kind of rituals for them that they don't need elaborated things or many arrangements to perform certain rituals, right? They can do that in a very simplistic manner, very simple way of praying, you can say, right? So it is contained in the Aranya, where some they follow this, especially the hermits, right? Then comes the Upanishads, the fourth part of the Ved. The Upanishad actually is important. You have two Upanishads in your syllabus. You have Katha and Isha Upanishad, which we will do. The Upanishad can be called Guhyam or Guhya Rahasya. Guhyam Vidya, a secret, right? So the Upanishad contains what? Secrets. And Sikwasaman secrets, c'est the secret to reach the ultimate one, to reach the supreme one, right? The Upanishad is also known as Vedanta. Vedanta means the end of the Vedas. The end of the Vedas meaning the summary of the Veda, right? If one doesn't read the the four Vedas, no problem. If they are reading the Upanishad, it already means that they are reading the Vedas, because the Upanishads, they are summaries of the Vedas, right? Now, the term Upanishad itself, le mot Upanishad, qui veut dire? Upanishad, c'est ban books. It's true, it's ban scriptures. And by the way, I don't know if it's there in the notes. We have 108 Upanishads, right? So they are books, they are scriptures, they are summaries of the Veda, no doubt. What is the meaning of the term Upanishad? It means to sit near a guru. We need to have a guru. A guru is a teacher, is a spiritual teacher, who helps us to acquire knowledge. So Upanishad means to sit near a guru or bien at the feet of the guru to acquire knowledge. That is the meaning of Upanishad. The Upanishad contains what? They contain the secret knowledge of Brahman. What is Atman? Brahman here Vidya, God. Brahman, Puna, deux meanings. Okay, Brahman has two meanings. One is God, the other sages, right? Brahman, usually, moi, quand on écrit Brahman, when I write it like this, I mean it for God. And when I write for the sages, I write it like this. Okay. Mais il n'est pas nécessairement que even in other books, normally we write Brahman like this. So Brahman means God, and it also means sages. So please make sure when you're reading something, make sure to know, to understand which one it is referring to, right? So the the Upanishad consists knowledge of Brahman, of Atman, moksha, rebirth, invocations, prayers, journey of the soul after death, qu'arrive un soul quand il finit, quand l'écho la mort, etc. About meditation, about creation, you know, various kind of topics, various things have been written or discussed in the Upanishads, right? A lot of Upanishadic knowledge is symbolic and difficult to understand. This is true because it is pure philosophy. The Upanishad is pure philosophy. It is going to disconnect in a few seconds. Can you rejoin? Then I'll finish this part.